Marvel Rivals, one of the best games of the year, of the era. I don't know yet, but time will tell how good it's gonna be. For real, I'm enjoying it right now. A very highly recommended a guy that I like. He makes some great content called Legendary Drops. Yes, the drop of Legendary has dropped a new video, and it is titled Marvel Rivals Has Become a Threat. I don't know if that's to society, to the Christian religion, to Gamergate 2, to I don't know, to what? To Overwatch? To Smite 2, we talked about that in a video. Y'all have been blowing that up, and I love it. Keep the conversation flowing, man. I love y'all talking in the comment section. It's great, but we're gonna check this out real quick. 23-minute video. Let's
Marvel
go.
Rivals is a threat, and I don't think people really understand exactly what's going on here with this game. We are seeing player retention on a scale that we haven't seen since Helldivers 2, and even still then, it's beating out what was a worldwide phenomenon at the time. 4 new playable characters, 3 new maps, new match types, all kinds of new...
4 new playable characters this season that we actually know about. There could be some, there could be some sprinkling in there,
content that's coming into the game.
I've seen people talk about the game in a way where they're like, there's too many characters. The game is not good because there's too many Bro, has anyone ever said that in Overwatch?
This game is a major disruption for not only the AAA industry, but also just the live service industry across the board.
It is.
Well, it's a game that's serving its fans. It's meeting the demands of its audience, and that kind of goes against the creed of many live service games that are out there. They don't really like to give us too much.
No.
They usually like to drip feed things a little bit, and it ends up, well, upsetting the fans. And
Halo, I'm a huge Halo fan. Some of y'all know this already, bro. They didn't do a very good job of providing the customer base with content. And guess what happened? The customer base disappeared. It was like a ghost town. To say, just like Modern Warfare 2's intro, or no, it was Modern Warfare 1. What a good game. But yeah, it turned that game into a ghost town. The gameplay was good. The aesthetic was good. The soundtrack was good. There's a little mixed reviews on the campaign, but that wasn't even out at the time, bro. And that's the problem with these games, bro. They drip feed you to fucking death. It's like, can I just get a whole game? Can I get a whole... Like, when I go to get my meal, I order a whole meal. Yeah, you can get an appetizer, you can get dessert, but that's like extra before and after. I want my whole meal at the same time. When I ask for the fajitas at a Mexican restaurant, don't bring me just some beans and then 5 minutes later bring me some tomatoes and then some onions and then the tortillas come like, what are you doing? I want it all at the same time. It's a meal. Bro, what?
It's one of the reasons why this game is getting so much support.
Yeah.
Imagine listening.
Such a contrast to modern gaming, man. I love it.
That's a foreign topic nowadays. We're now hearing rumblings, or rumors at the very least, that there's a PvE mode that's in development as well. So we're going to talk about that. Imagine Blizzard would be in shambles if they actually released one. That would be... NetEase, you could do the funniest thing. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about...
They're doing it, baby. They're fucking doing
about
it.
all things Marvel Rivals, from the new content to its future to those that would stand in the way of its success, and why this game is going to be a problem many can't ignore. We are now 1 month out from the launch of Marvel Rivals, and the game hasn't shown any signs of slowing down or stopping. Historically, when we see a popular game release, live service or not, we tend to see the game surge in the week of its launch, and then players that aren't interested in the game start moving on, and the player count kind of falls to find its dedicated audience. However, in the case of Marvel Rivals,
we still dedicated.
We're seeing the opposite. We're just now a month past its launch, and we're consistently seeing the game hold over 400,000 concurrent players on Steam, less than 50,000 down for...
And that's on Steam. Boy, when I search on console only, bro, it's still insane. It's not like, you search a game because on there you can do console only or everybody. Dude, on Quick Play, it's automatic. You find a match automatically. The player base is crazy. And this is just Steam numbers. Imagine them all together. Put that
into perspective, when Helldivers 2 lit the internet on fire earlier last year, its release surged up to 458,000 players and then dropped to 334,000 players after its first month, losing 30% of its players from its peak.
When did Marvel... It came out in the beginning of December, right?
Marvel Rivals has lost 9. That is absurd, because that means that this game is either replacing players that are leaving the game, with new players that want to try it out at a near 1-to-1 ratio, or the players aren't leaving the game.
That's exactly what's happening. Obviously, the amount of people that I know about is drastically smaller. It's a smaller portion size, but I know a lot of people that play Overwatch that originally played this game too. And they haven't touched this game at all. They went back to Overwatch. They're enjoying it, I guess. They like the 6v6. But that's not the common trend. So there is a lot of people. When I talk to people, they're like, oh, yeah, I play Valorant only. Or, oh, I only play Smite 2. Or, oh, I only play Halo Infinite. Or whatever it might be. When I'm having small talk with gamers, they don't, like, a lot of them aren't even playing Marvel Rivals. Now, a lot of them are like, yeah, I think it's like going through a phase. And, you know, I'm just seeing if the wave dies down. If it doesn't, I might have to join quick to, you know, get up to speed. But there's like that barrier of entry. You know, you have that game that you love so much, and this new thing comes out, and you're like, I don't know if is it too good to be true, you know? And you're also comfortable. You're already good at that one game, so you don't want to, you know, moving over. There's a little bit of a transitional period where you have to get used to it, and you're, you know, bad at the game again. And so there is that, but the more that it succeeds, and the more that the game just keeps on getting new content, the fandom just keeps talking about how great it is, and we just are having a great time, they're gonna notice, and they're gonna be like, I want to have a good time too. So there's going to be new players coming down the pipeline, baby. It's just going to grow. And you might say that it's going to fall off after a point. It doesn't matter. The numbers that it's doing right now is ridiculous, man.
Likely it's probably a blend of the two. Players are actually sticking around to keep playing the game, and the players that are leaving are getting replaced with new players. And
yeah.
There's a lot of reasons for this game's continued popularity. One of the reasons for this, I think, is that the game is being consumed so much on social media. While I know that there's a lot of people that are out there that don't think social media presence of a game is indicative of its success or its player base,
I'll tell you why it's indicative, bro. When gamers are at work, let's just say a rough number, I'm just throwing out a number, like 75% of those gamers are probably going to be on social media at one point during work. Just throwing it out there. I know there's jobs where you don't have access to your phones, and a lot of people don't want to have their phones on them because they want to be focused on the work. Typically, that's with people that really love what they're doing and love their jobs. And I imagine these days, with a lot of jobs, you know, closing and they're becoming more barriers, I imagine, you know, that number gets smaller and smaller as time goes on. But nevertheless, social media is going to be pushing this game as well. It's just like, you know, social media pushing news, pushing anything these days. It's obviously it's going to happen.
The more people that are consuming content around the game, the more people that are playing it. On Twitch, when the game released, it surged up to 227,000 viewers. Many of the biggest channels receiving sponsorships, and some players were just interested in playing the game. And now it's sitting at an average of 100K viewers daily, making it one of the top categories on the platform.
Now, this is due to, obviously, big creators playing the game, and I've seen a lot of big creators kind of shit on Marvel Rivals, but they're still playing the game. And in my mindset, I'm like, okay, then go play fucking Overwatch if you want to. And that's what they're correlating it. They're like, I think it was Ninja or somebody, they were pretty much saying, like, oh, y'all don't remember how good Overwatch was when it came out. I think one game of the year, like, yeah, it was a very good game, but why do we have to fucking reminisce on the past? Why can't we just focus on right now and just appreciate what the greatness in front of us? It's almost like the MJ and LeBron topic. It's like, okay, I get it, you have nostalgia for Michael Jordan, but dude, this motherfucker's 40 years old doing a fucking windmill dunk with his left hand over a awesome defensive player. Like, shit's unheard of, but you're so caught up in the past, you can't focus on right now. And I guess Ninja's not the best person to talk about that, really, with his whole situation and the viewer base and stuff like that, but it is what it is. This game is fucking phenomenal.
YouTube
in my
videos
opinion,
covering
man.
the best plays, the best players, tier lists, and gameplay are totaling millions of views, and Twitter and Reddit are overflowing with fan art and cosplays of the game's heroes. Both the ranked and casual modes in Rivals are thriving, which honestly is pretty rare to see.
Unfortunately, I have not had the same effect with my channel, not yet at least, but when I talk about this game, the views really aren't there yet. Like, there's certain topics that I don't know why so far I'm learning with YouTube, but I fucking love this game, bro. I'm closing, I think, like 150 hours into the game or something like that, and there's a lot of periods where I got so busy where I couldn't play the game, but dude, when I play it, I can't, it's hard to, like, get off the game, and I haven't had that experience in a long time. So I'm going to talk about this game on the channel. So I hope y'all like this game. If you don't, it is what it is, man. Just comment down below. Maybe you don't like it. Tell me why you don't. I love to see that perspective. Maybe I just have like these shaders on that are blinding me.
The casual mode is drawing in all types of players, whether they're just here for fun or just don't want the pressure of ranked matches.
Blind optimism,
At the exact same time, the ranked mode is keeping the competitive crowd engaged with plenty of players that are grinding to climb the ladder, participating in tournaments, and all kinds of different things.
New characters
the game is
as well.
offering something for everyone, and that's why it's working so well.
Yeah.
Now the game is getting its first major update with Season 1, featuring 4 new characters in the Fantastic Four. Susan Storm and Mr. Fantastic are up first, and then in the second half of the season, we're going to see the other 2 characters. We're also getting new maps with the Sanctum Sanctorum and Midtown that are going to drop in the first half. And
a lot of people have been shitting on the maps as well. When they do their critiques, they say that Overwatch has better maps. I can see why they might say that, and I hate always comparing Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, but it is the hot topic, right? But the map detail of how like the maps are destroyed is such a great aspect in the game that I love so much. It just changes the way you play. You think like some characters would be OP, but then you destroy a couple walls, open up some flanks or some viewpoints to shoot through, and boom, bada bing, the whole game's changed.
Central Park in the second
So I think that's a game
Plus,
changer.
There's going to be new game modes and objectives, keeping things fresh for the players.
Yeah,
And
the teleporter
whole
room's
time
crazy.
that they've been developing all of this new content for the game, the developers have been, well, genuinely listening to player feedback, engaging with their community directly, tackling it.
Ed Netties, if y'all see this reaction, brother, bro, send me that $100, please, or add a feature where I can gift people skins and stuff like that. That'd be cool too. I would love to do that to people that watch the
issues
videos.
in the game, balancing performance issues with characters like Hawkeye and Hela, and bringing up lesser characters like Cloak and Dagger. They've been cooking. Now we have a prominent leaker for Rivals at Rivals Info on Twitter who's been digging around the game files and has shown off a lot of skins that hadn't made their way into the game. And then
I heard a lot of this was cap. I don't know exactly, but there's been a lot of fake leaks out there. A lot of them. And when they get pressed on it, a lot of them just fold and they're like, well, this is a leak, but it's an estimated leak in my estimations. It's like, oh, so you've seen a couple game files and you're guessing what's coming next. Like, how is that, hard-hitting facts? I don't
later
know.
did, and more skins
like,
that we're likely going to
leaks
see in the
aren't
future.
always right.
Recently, they shared that they discovered project files for PvE content that's either in development or was cut from the game. While we have no word on what the status of this potential PvE mode is, if Blizzard saw potential in it, then likely NetEase has as well. And honestly, it would be the funniest thing ever if they actually implemented meaningful PvE into the game where Overwatch failed to do so. This is something that genuinely could attract a completely different audience into the game and also give more players a reason to stick around.
I don't think they need to do this, but I think they're going to make a lot of money from this game being free to play, and the skins are just fucking busted. Like, they're so nice. Like, the Venom winter skin is so sexy. Like, there's so many skins that are just amazing looking, right? And so they're going to make their money that way. And it's also not, like, kind of, toxic for the fandom or whatever. But I do want to say...
What's truly fascinating about all of this is that most...
Sorry, my camera just froze up right there. I do want to say that they don't need to like go out of their way, because there's so many superhero games already that are like PvE. I don't think they need to, but it's just gonna be icing on the top at the end of the day. And then also like the videos that they're gonna be having, like the cinematics are gonna be so cool. People are gonna want like actual comic books from this game. The art style, it's just, bro, people are gonna want more. When you have something good, everyone wants more. No one's ever fucking, had enough.
Modern live service games would never and could never deliver on this sort of content or be this ambitious, especially for free. Most live service games, especially shooters, ignore any issues that are in their games. Maybe they will throw in a single player map or minor changes to existing ones. They'll occasionally drop a new character or weapon. Apex Legends, as an example, just revealed their update at the exact same time as Rivals announced their first season, and all they're offering is cosmetics. Overwatch 2 did the exact same thing while watching a mass exodus from their game.
I'm sorry, but the more like I play Marvel Rivals, the more I look back at like the Overwatch characters, and I'm like, I know there's a lot of people that like Overwatch that might see this video, but I'm like, it's just dog shit. Like Junkrat, like like Zendaya, like I get it, like we fell in love with these characters, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this is just off-brand superheroes,
They chose
bro.
to release recolors of existing skins to try to entice players back to their game. Reading through some of the comments on these announcement videos, you can see an outcry from fans begging them to fix issues within their games, livid that the games that they've invested so much in won't invest in them or even try to fight back against new competition that has stepped into the market. This kind of goes back to a broader topic that I've discussed in the past many times on this channel by now, but many of these modern live service games just don't have the respect for their audience that's necessary to keep players happy or to keep them around.
There was also an article, and we'll react to it sometime, but it was pretty much saying that, like, very critical big YouTubers scare the living shit out of developers, whether they be, like, movies or video games or whatever like that. Like, Asmongold was dropped, and Critical Drinker was dropped, and, you know, etc. like that. I think that they shouldn't be worried about critical content creators in the spaces. I think they should be worried about who the fuck they're hiring. Because, like, what are they saying? What are their motives? You know, I mean, obviously they want to make a great game, but how do they treat the customer base? Like, when you have these fucking developers come out, these employees that work for these companies, and they have these huge fan bases, and maybe shit gets sticky, maybe shit's a little rough at one point, and then you start fucking bashing fans. That is the worst thing you can do. Like, oh my god, the modern PR, I don't know what it is. Y'all focus on the worst things possible, like having like identity politics, brownie points, instead of just treating your fandom like fucking family. I don't get it.
Each update only serves to increase their bottom line
So many
by
companies
introducing
do
more
this.
microtransactions and cosmetics rather than meaningful content or addressing player concerns or just general issues within their games. I mean, look at the state of Call of Duty right now. While Black Ops 6 was received pretty well at launch, it has reportedly lost over half of its players, and it's getting worse
I'm one of those. But to be frank, Zombies was so much fun.
by the day. All of this is driven by the fact that players aren't satisfied. They watch as these studios continue to deliver the exact same thing. Nothing changes. There's no advancement. They won't fix issues within their games. They let cheaters run rampant, yet they have no problem releasing cosmetics and new battle passes.
Yeah.
This sends the signal to the players that your experience or your enjoyment don't matter. Only your money does. The biggest threat to the
That's exactly it. When in doubt, follow the money,
video
brother.
game industry is the fact that players have learned how to vote with their wallets, and I just love to see it.
And unfortunately, I voted double.
Love to
I
watch
doubled
them
down.
struggle, and the struggle is going to get real pretty soon here. You have to respect where the money comes from, and many of these studios have lost sight of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because they've got so comfortable sitting in their C-suite offices, sitting back, drinking their, bottle of water with waifu stickers all over it and saying, these idiots, they'll buy anything. They'll still play it.
That's how like the collabs I've seen on Overwatch, like the Avatar one. Oh my god, those cosmetics look so bad. Like, just so bad. Like, the majority of them do. Like, there's a couple ones that are, like, alright. But it just... Oh, it hurts, man. It hurt. Like, man.
And they're right. Because
How
we're
the mighty
impulsive
have fallen.
creatures. It's what we do. But what ends up happening when the game across the street treats us better? You didn't think about that, did you? Anecdotal, I know, but I loved Warzone when it first released. I had so much fun playing it.
And then the hackers came.
A lot of people get pretty nostalgic about Verdansk, but I also clearly remember how many issues that game had, how often they would go unalleviated, and how easily they would introduce microtransactions and skins and battle passes. How many times the stim glitch came back into the game, skins that would release that would...
This reminds me of, like, when PUBG launched. Oh my god, do y'all remember, like, falling into the fucking, the map, and everything was just, like, you would get down on the ground and shit would just, the buildings would be still spawning in. Oh, it was so janky.
Make players invisible. There was, like, the one time that they had, like, the helicopter glitch, and then they fixed it, and then it made another glitch happen, and then another one, and then another one. It went on for, like, 3 months.
Halo has the same issue, bro. With the MCC, that game was unplayable for, like, 5 years, bro. People were shooting the floors and getting kill streaks, killing their own teammates just by fucking spamming shooting the floors. And now that game is like apparently gonna be launched on PlayStation 5 and Switch. You're telling me you're gonna play the MCC on a Switch? Like, I get it. More player base, better for Halo. I love that. I want more people playing Halo. But is that thing gonna be, you know, buckled down and ironed out before they launch that shit? And I know this is all rumors, but bro, I can definitely see a world where MCC comes out on Switch and that motherfucker starts blowing Switches up.
Meanwhile, they never did anything about any of the cheaters in the game. Warzone today still suffers from those same issues.
I won't touch it.
It's the same story because none of those things ever get fixed because they're never a priority, because the players are not a priority. We are the afterthought. It is our money that is the first thing that they want. And the only way they can get that is through microtransactions. But what they don't realize is that if these games are not in the state that they need to be, and you're not feeding the players with good enough content, they're not going to stick around, and you're not going to get the microtransactions if we're not playing the game. That's kind of how this works. When I look around the games industry right now, I see a lot of these live service studios that have gotten fat and comfortable and greedy. They don't want, it's like a
competition is key, obviously. So we're in for some really good gaming this year, I think. And like the next hero shooter that comes out, it's either going to flop terribly or it's going to do tremendously well. Competition is key.
Said before, all they want to do is
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger,
and the only
right?
time that they ever want to give back is when their backs are up against the wall, and Marvel Rivals is about to line them all up.
Fucking execution.
Too many live
time.
service games are doing the absolute bare minimum while squeezing their players dry with microtransactions and cosmetics, while ignoring real issues within their games. That is the reason why Marvel Rivals is seeing such an outpour of support, is because the players feel like they're heard. They're getting content that's...
This is also the same issue that Halo Infinite had. Everything was broken in fucking Halo Infinite when it first came out, but then guess what? Guess what was perfectly working? The fucking shop. No issues there.
Worthwhile to them, and the game has a bright future. It's as simple as that. It's a company that respects where the money comes from and knows what the players want and are delivering on it.
And the fact that it's fucking NetEase, dude. NetEase is the one setting the fucking gaming standard right now for a hero shooter. Think about that. A Chinese company. Wow, how times have fucking changed.
There are those that would like to stand in the way of that. In an article written by Jade King titled "Marvel Rivals has too many heroes for its own good,"
here we go.
They go on to detail a litany of issues that they have with the game and why they believe it should take notes from Overwatch. Jade writes, "Marvel Rivals arrived with one hell of an impact, but as the dust clears, some obvious flaws are now plain to see. The lack of role queue is one major omission, and is already making effective team play an impossibility when playing with strangers."
I'm sorry, but that's part of the fun of it. Like, it does drive me crazy sometimes when I have 5 DPSs and 1 healer and no tank, or maybe we'll have fucking 5 DPSs and 1 tank and no heal. It just drives me crazy. But guess what? I don't want to be locked into some situation where it's like, oh, you have to have 2. It's like, no. I don't want to do that. I want the freedom to pick whatever I want, because sometimes you could do stuff like 4 healers, 1 tank, and 1 DPS, and it fucking work, bro. The amount of characters is awesome, because when you get into a game, you're gonna find a hero that you like. You get to try out as many as you want. Whatever, the more options you have, the more likely you're gonna find that perfect, guy or girl, whoever it might be. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Unless you want to switch to Vanguard or Strategist of your own accord to salvage an ailing match, you'll end up losing. This is a problem with Overwatch 2, but role queue has made it much easier for you to form teams have a decent chance of winning.
You know what's funny also? The ace of your team, the MVP, if you're in a situation like that and you switch over to healer last minute and you do a bunch of heals or tank or whatever it might be, you can easily go to ace. You can become the MVP, which is fitting because you are adjustable, you're coachable. There's a situation you recognize that you need to fix. There's a hole in the boat and you need to fucking fill that hole in. I love that. That's a part of it's a strategy. You take that away from us, it's not going to be the same.
If you work together, No Limits asks you to throw this aside for some chaotic fun where emerging victorious doesn't matter, but in Marvel Rivals, that is the only way to play, so it's impossible not to criticize. Right now, I spend games playing support out of obligation, preventing me from trying out other heroes.
Good thing we got Sue Storm.
The lack of role queue
we got something for you, brother.
It's the game's strength. Rivals gives players the freedom to play and adapt, rather than forcing them into a pigeonhole because they were too late to join a match or they were too late to pick a hero. Meanwhile, Overwatch 2 has made people miserable with its role queue, and players have been complaining about it for years.
Yep. Especially when they went to 5v5, like, why? Why couldn't you just keep 6v6? And now that 6v6 is out, it's like, no, you're not getting me back. You're not getting me back. I found something even better, bro. Don't do that to me. Don't make me feel bad because y'all want to fix things after things were already fucked. But then when I find someone better, it's like a relationship in a way. It's fucking crazy, bro. It's like you have an ex-girlfriend and there's all these problems, and then once you find a girl that's even better, they're like, oh, wait, I can be adjustable. I can fix those things. I've changed. No. I see through the bullshit.
Reeks of somebody that's trying to drag Marvel Rivals down to Overwatch's level of mediocrity.
Yeah.
If they can't see that freedom is exactly what makes this game great, then they're complaining just for the sake of it. From my perspective, not every game has to be,
and there's a market for that,
specifically tuned so that you can roleplay as an esports player in your 30s. I've seen many people posing the question as to why Marvel Rivals is succeeding right now, and Tim Sweeney put it perfectly: fun. That's the reason why people are playing this game, and trying to bog it down with competitive tools isn't going to make it any better.
It's a good
time. I don't know about everybody else, but I am sick and tired of every single third-person and first-person shooter becoming a toxic sweat fest. I'm average at these kind of games. I know I'm not that good at them, but I just like to have fun.
Shout out to everybody in gold, brother. Oh, I guess y'all are probably in bronze now because of the new season. But, dude, everybody in gold's having a great time. Like, yeah, we're trying to sweat and get out of it because obviously you have that mentality with competitive. It's like, bro, I want to be the best type shit. Or get as good as I can possibly be. But still, we're having fun at the same time.
Playing them. The vast majority of people are average or below. And catering to the competitive end of these games is exactly how you push out the average player. The writer then goes on to discuss how Marvel Rivals is a hero shooter built on one of the most iconic licenses in gaming, but argues that the game being free to play
not just in gaming, in entertainment.
It's an unrealistic expectation for players to simply enjoy being the heroes without needing to learn complex mechanics and understand their roles.
They're not complex at all, and also if you played Overwatch, these concepts are kind of familiar.
They complain that the game's focus on mechanical skills disrupts the power fantasy that would be enjoyed by single-player games like Spider-Man or Batman, where the challenge is just personal gratification. The conclusion that the writer comes to is that even during its beta period, the roster was stacked with a staggering number of playable heroes and villains to choose from. In the lead up to its launch, more additions were confirmed for the roster, making it hard to determine who I would main and if I would even have enough time to learn the ins and outs before their release.
Oh, the problem of abundance.
Turns out that I didn't. And now the sheer act of playing Marvel Rivals is daunting. Once again, I find myself comparing it unfavorably to Overwatch. Overwatch launched with 21 heroes, while Rivals stepped out of the gate with 33, just 11 shy of how many Overwatch 2 has now.
Man.
And it isn't an original universe, as it has decades of media to draw from.
Comment down below how long you think it's going to take for us to surpass the amount of heroes in Overwatch
when it comes to its roster, but that also means that there's less potential for future additions, and some of its biggest names can't be capitalized on because they've been here the entire time. For the first few years of its existence, Overwatch turned each new hero into a legitimate event. You would follow each update and tease with fervent anticipation, waiting to find out exactly what role they might fill and what they would look like.
That just sounds like, oh, we would milk every ounce of content that we've got because it was fucking drip feeded to us. You know what I mean? It's a different way of looking things, you know, optimism and, you know, looking at the negative. It's just a perspective thing, really.
Rivals add Century. Every new hero was unexpected, but for Rivals, it feels like we're already having to temper our expectations after NetEase jumped the gun on its A-listers. I could be proven wrong, but right now, I'm not very excited about new heroes coming to Marvel Rivals because we're already dealing with an excessive roster. There's no moderation and a desire to give players a temporary power fantasy instead of easing them into things. This will only hurt the game in the long run, and feeling that way right now isn't a good sign. The roster is daunting is a bit of a reach. Having a large roster might seem overwhelming, but the game's mechanics and
it is overwhelming for new players, but here's the great thing about the concept of Marvel Rivals. They already know who the heroes are. Majority of people that are playing this game know about a comic book character from Marvel. Even like the most niche person in the world, they know of superheroes. They know of Superman and Batman. Iron Man, Spider-Man, like these characters transcend region and language and all those kinds of things, culture. So that is that is a saving grace, I guess, if you want to make the argument that there's too many characters in the game from the get-go. Well, there's also there's so many opportunities for you to just log into the game and automatically be like, oh, they have Wolverine. That's cool. Or maybe you're some like niche comic book lover, and Squirrel Girl is the greatest. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread for you. I don't know. Everyone's a little different, and there's something for everyone. So I think that's perfect for me. When I stepped into Overwatch, I didn't play Overwatch at the beginning. My friends got me into it because they said it was really good. I went over to their house. I played it with them. And you start out with Soldier 76 because you're a Call of Duty guy, and then you ease into other characters, but that's a little daunting when you're going into a hero shooter for the first time, I guess you could say. And moving around, once you get comfortable with those characters, you're not familiar with the roster like you are with Marvel. So with Marvel, it's like, yeah, I'm comfortable with Iron Fist and Black Widow and Punisher and Psycholock and these main characters that I wanted. I saw these characters. I was like, okay, everyone says Iron Fist is the meta. Let me get good at him. Punisher, easy as fuck, right? He's fun to play for just jumping into the game. That's why he's there for the tutorial. But then you have other characters that are really cool, that have cool skins, like Psycholock, for instance. But yeah, so I tried out that person. It turned out she was really good, and she got nerfed. So I'm kind of sad about that. But then, later on, when I was ready for season 1, I'm trying other new characters. I'm trying Cloak and Dagger, who's a lot of fun. I'm trying Jeff because you gotta be a healer sometime, and it seems like Jeff has really good heals. He's a lot of fun. His ult's really cool. Moon Knight's busted. So there's so many characters you get killed by and you're annoyed by, and you're just like, God, this seems like they're not balanced at all, which is another problem I guess someone could complain about. But it's the beginning of the game. They're balancing them now. And so, yeah, I tried Moon Knight, I tried Hela, I tried Hawkeye, and it was fun learning these different characters. And guess what? I'm familiar with them, because it's MCU, we're coming off the MCU. We haven't had a lot of great Marvel stuff in a while. That depends on you. For me, I haven't been feeling it that way. It hasn't been as good as Endgame was. So yeah, I had an itch that I needed scratched. Marvel Rivals, it gives me that 100%. And this is not something that's going to be applied to everybody. But saying that, the problem with this game is that there's too many characters. Well, I'm sorry. Get over it. Play just one if you want. I don't know. It just seems like you're complaining to complain.
Character level really aren't all that complicated. The kits are designed to be easy to understand, so even if you're a new...
And you're also... This is an argument that is paralleled with Overwatch. Marvel Rivals get shit because they say they took the mechanics of Overwatch, put it into a blender, and then gave their abilities to just random characters, which I love, which should make it easier for you to figure out these other heroes because, oh, wow, Black Widow plays a little bit like Widowmaker. That's interesting, Oh, the witch. Oh my God, Scarlet Witch, her ult's kind of like a diva bomb. That's interesting. It's just come on, dude. Come on. I just can't. If someone was really shitting on Marvel Rivals in front of me and they're trying to tell me all these points because of Overwatch and it just would not fly. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I understand being optimistic or pessimistic, a different perspective, but this just... There's too many things that counterbalance what you're saying,
Player, you can quickly grasp what each hero does. It's not about learning complex mechanics. It's about learning to get the feel for each character's abilities and how to figure out how to use those abilities strategically. Yes. This accessibility is what's allowing 20+ million players to play the game right now.
Exactly.
Jump in and enjoy it right off the bat, despite having a large roster. Yep. I'm sitting here wondering whether or not this writer lives under a rock. This game's accessibility isn't...
No, they don't live under a rock. They live under a rock. Well, if they do, it's a rock that requires money. And so what are they going to do? Well... A lot of people like this game, so let me just hate it for the sake of hating it. That's all you gotta do. You gotta take a perspective, flip it on its head, and say, how can I flip this around and just pander to the crowd that is mad at a game that's so successful, which you can do with anything. You really can. And you see this all the time on YouTube. I can't stand it, especially when it's so black and white.
Hindered
like this.
by its vast roster, it's enhanced by it. Marvel has thousands of heroes spanning different universes, eras, and realities. Of course, this game is going to feature some of the most iconic heroes to draw players in right out of the gate.
Shout out to the guy, I forgot your name, I'm sorry, and I'm not going to look at the comment right now, but shout out to you. Someone mentioned that there was over 74,000 different character models and stuff like that. Is insane for Marvel, and I don't know if that number is accurate, but it sounds about right, bro.
That's exactly
it
what
really
people
does.
want, but we all know these characters. Everyone recognizes Spider-Man's web-slinging, Storm's weather powers, Wolverine's claws, or Iron Man's lasers.
Storm's gonna be the new meta, guys.
With these characters is what makes this game so approachable for both fans that are casual players or hardcore players.
Also, the game doesn't look like shit, and it also plays so well. So you have all these aesthetics, you have these, pre-existing things that attract you to the game, and then the game's just fucking good and fun.
This isn't League of Legends where you have to sit back and figure out all these different intricate mechanics and how each one of these characters work from scratch. With Marvel Rivals, we already have a solid foundation as to what these heroes can do, thanks to decades of media exposure. The diversity and depth of the roster is actually a huge part of the reason why players are flocking to this game in the first place. And
I also do not want to shit on Overwatch, because without Overwatch, this game is not possible. I just don't think it is. And it would be a lot different if Overwatch didn't come out before this game did, 100%. But so shout out to Overwatch for that. They made steps. They walked. They did a lot. I'm downplaying the success of Overwatch for sure. But obviously, recently, the success level of Overwatch has been very diminished in general but without it, it's not possible for for Marvel Rivals to succeed like it is right now.
Pushing back against that would make this game not what it is. People have their favorite heroes, and the promise of even more of them is what keeps them excited. The idea that Marvel Rivals is going to somehow run out of recognizable or meaningful characters is just, I'm gonna say, it's fucking stupid. As an X-Men fan, I am offended by this. I'm losing my mind.
X-Men is a perfect example.
Thinking about the potential for more X-Men characters to hit the roster.
That's amazing.
I mean, they could pump mutants into this game for years.
Yes, which we don't really need. There is a point where it's like, wow, there's too many. And okay, actually, no, I take that back. How many characters are in Super Smash Bros. Melee, or not Melee, Ultimate? There's gotta be like close to 100. Maybe not 100, but dude, there's so many, man. And that game is so fucking good. So yeah, and you can have a lot of characters that play similar. We've talked about this before. You can have characters that play very similar to other characters. Like for instance, you have like Iron Man and War Machine. Two different characters for sure. They have two very similar kits that could possibly come out. So yeah, you see what I'm saying? You could just differ a little bit, more machine guns, less plasma shooter. I don't know, but you can have a lot of characters with a little bit of variation in between them to make them a little unique. You know what I mean?
And still have more to come up with. Bishop, Deadpool, Rogue, Gambit, Cyclops.
We need the Phoenix. We need the Phoenix, bro. Imagine the Phoenix, bro. Imagine having a Scarlet Witch versus the Phoenix in a hero shooter. That would be fucking cool.
Nightcrawler, Jean Grey.
Nightcrawler would be
sick.
sick.
We can finally have a character in a wheelchair that actually...
Oh my god.
actually makes sense.
You brought me here, Magneto. The next move is yours.
I think that the one thing that many writers and critics are getting wrong about this game, or at least the thing that I think that they're losing sight of, is that the vast majority of players that are coming to play this game are either fans of Marvel or they're just here for the fun and spectacle. That's why this game is so successful, and that's exactly what kind of game these developers set out to make. That's why they're delivering on players' needs. That's why players love this game so much. It's been a long time since I've seen a studio so dialed into what players want and especially what they want out of the Marvel IP. I think people need to keep in mind that the Marvel IP has been used and abused so many times, and the reason why people are so excited about this game.
I'll tell you what. You know why I know they know what the people want, and it's not just because like skins and stuff like that. Hold on, I'm gonna go to full screen mode for a second. And I might edit this out a little bit. Depends on how long it takes me to find it. But I saw something which I thought was fucking hilarious. And I gotta shout out to the developers, the netties. They really do know what the players want, and they're leaning into it 100%. And all the memes, the player feedback, everything, they're leaning into it. And a lot of people might think it's scummy or whatever. Let me look this up real quick. Marvel Rivals. This is hilarious. Oh my god. Here it is. Here it is. Oh my goodness. This is from this is from Marvel Rivals News. Was an official channel for Marvel Rivals. I believe so. Let's full screen this real quick. The caption was fantastic back shots.
Trouble has arrived.
Oh no.
I have a shield, but no complaints.
Oh my god. Bro, they are just having fun with it. It's crazy. Oh yes, official Marvel Rival account, mind you. Let's just double check and see if someone's. No, yeah, they're just laughing, bro. Yeah, so they're leaning into it, literally.
Is because we finally have something that's using the Marvel IP that's actually good for once. I mean, the first skins that they produced for the two newest characters is Susan Storm as Malice and Reed Richards as the Maker,
which is canon appropriate. This is lore accurate.
Well, the Fantastic Four have
now
always
I will hate on the new skin for Scarlet Witch. They could have been a little bit closer to the comic books, but it still looks good, man.
In known characters, their evil alter egos are some of the most dark and obscure depictions in Marvel. I mean, the Maker lobotomized Tony Stark for an infinity.
Yeah, I didn't know about this whole timeline, but yeah, I found out the hard way. That dude, we actually might have to react to like a comic book depiction, like, you know, they turn it into a YouTube video. I don't know if that'd be cool or not.
These developers are so dialed into this game in a way that so very few studios are today, especially when it's not even their own IP. And it's only going to grow this game's audience from here. Rivals is giving players exactly what they want. Thick thighs, the freedom to enjoy the chaos, the power fantasy, and the excitement of Marvel's vast universe of characters.
And it's going to be so beneficial to the MCU because this game is going to build hype for Marvel in general, which they are in desperate need of.
This isn't about appeasing.
I guarantee you that people will go watch the new Captain America movie more just because Marvel Rivals is such a success. That's how transcendent this game is going to be. Now, is it going to break blockbuster numbers and shit like that? Probably not, but it's probably going to do better than the last movie. I can't remember which the last movie was.
Gatekeepers, it's about creating a game that everyone can feel like they can have a blast playing. So maybe instead of whining about too many heroes, the writer should realize that this is the kind of game that's keeping Overwatch awake at night. Because Marvel Rivals is everything that Overwatch isn't.
To be fair, this game keeps me up at night as well, because I'll play it nonstop and then I try to go straight to bed, put my head on the pillow, and all I hear is, again! Bro, fuck. I just hear all the iconic voiceovers, bro. I'm just thinking about it. Oh, I love the game, man. It's so much fun.
Somehow going to run out of gas just blows my mind. How do you have such little brand awareness and you call yourself an industry expert? I could make an entire 7-hour live stream discussing all the different heroes that they could potentially have in Marvel Rivals in the future. I actually should probably do that sometime. You guys should follow me on Twitch if you guys haven't. Catch me live.
Me too. I don't stream right now because my computer's crap. But hey, we hit 500 subs, baby. You know what that means? I can monetize the channel a little bit. So I'm gonna be working on just a couple items, some merch that I kind of want to get for myself. Frankly, I want to design something really cool. But yeah, we get to make some money eventually. I don't know what I'm gonna do to monetize it, but hey, and all that money it's going to go into the channel itself. So whether that be like buying a new computer to actually be able to stream without it crashing, because I want to be able to have the YouTube VODs are always going to be most important to me. So like doing that at the same time as recording is just messy. And then if you don't know anything about Twitch and have never streamed before on Twitch, when you like stream onto Twitch and then try to download the VOD, it just looks like shit. It's so bad. So yeah, the quality on YouTube is always going to come first. But nevertheless, I'm getting way too into it.
We'll talk about that one day. That'd actually be a really fun stream.
Yeah.
There are so many characters
That would be dope.
in alternate universes and all kinds of different things that are out there with different moves and skill sets that they could be able to use in Marvel Rivals.
I heard, bro, I saw someone post about the Daredevil coming to Marvel Rivals, and they posted the female version. Bro, the haters are gonna lose their shit if we get the female version of Daredevil before the original.
I mean, you have Earth 1602. You could bring in all the 1602 characters, like the characters that are like from the 1600s.
There's a lot of Earths,
really
brother.
cool additions, and their powers work a little bit differently and things like that.
Yep.
You could do Marvel Zombies and bring in some of these zombified characters because they
That'd be a
also
cool skin.
act quite a bit different and would play entirely different. That would be really cool. Age of Apocalypse, because that brings back some like ancient mutants
Apocalypse
and stuff.
would be badass.
There's so many
Dude,
different
there's so many, not just even heroes, but so many good villains, bro.
ways that you could go around
man.
this and find so many different characters that are out there. I mean, if I was to show my power level, we could start talking about Omega level mutants.
No, not just that. Thanos, bro? Imagine Thanos. Oh my fucking god. Oh.
And in that case, they only have 2 out of the 16 known
Doom?
Omega
Yeah,
level
Doom's gonna be
mutants
crazy.
in Marvel Rivals at this moment. If they add Legion,
Oh boy.
I might never play another video game.
I mean,
Incredible TV show.
been
by
hard
the
to
way.
play
If you
another
guys never
multiplayer.
watched Legion on FX, I would totally go watch it. It's such a joy to watch. They did such a good job with that TV show. But that's the thing. That's what makes this game so exciting and fun. It's because we don't know what characters are going to come, but we do know what those characters are likely going to play like, because
I really like, if you've seen some of my reaction videos to like the new season and stuff like that, I felt like a kid in the candy shop. I felt like I was watching, like, you remember the animations, the cinematics they used to have for like the new Smash players entering the fight. Oh my god, dude, I used to lose my shit. I used to group up with my buddies and watch that shit. Bro, I love Smash.
we have such a
I feel like I'm getting like I have a teleporter and I'm going back in time and having that same feeling all over again. It's so nostalgic. It's so overwhelming. It's amazing.
history with this brand, with this franchise, and especially the people that are, whether you're a huge fan of Marvel or whether you're somebody that has just, passively taken it in, you watch a couple movies, maybe you just really like the MCU and stuff like that, you're still going to be able to recognize the vast majority of these characters and know exactly what they're going to do. It's not like you're
And also the ones that you don't, it's so cool to learn about them this
going to
way.
be like Iceman. I wonder if he shoots fire. Quicksilver. I wonder what his power is. Most of the characters
Squirrel
are
Girl.
self-explanatory,
I
which makes the
wonder-
barrier
She
to
shoots
entry for
nuts.
this game damn near non-existent. It makes it so easy to get into, and everybody has their favorite characters, so you get to sit back and wait and hope to see if your favorite one comes in, or maybe if your favorite character's already in the game, you're just waiting to see, maybe I'll start learning about some of these other ones, and then you start maybe reading some of the older comics and stuff like that. That's what makes this so cool. I mean, for me specifically, I am actually a legitimate hardcore Marvel fan.
Me too.
But I have not engaged with any of the media for years now because it sucked.
Yep.
I'm just going to be real. And there's going to be a ton of people that are going to agree with me.
Yep.
Because that's just the
I
way.
agree, and there's gonna be a ton of people that hate on it too, because like that loyalist mentality. Same thing with like Star Wars. Same thing with a lot of like IP, like Halo, for instance. Like when I see something and I'm just not into it, like, and I say it sucks, and it's obviously you're comparing it to the stuff that came before. Like it's still something you want to go watch, but. Man, even with Marvel, there's just been so much, and it is different dynamic than the other IPs I was mentioning because of the whole situation where they had a huge storyline build up, and it was the end, literally the end game, and then you turn around and you try to push that story forward and keep that machine working, keep the train moving. Oh man, it's been dragging along, and not to mention, you change media like formats and you try to introduce TV shows, which has done very well in certain situations and just really bad in other situations. It's been all over the place, so it's definitely been a drag.
It's been. But like, old X-Men, like X-Men 97 and stuff
so
like that,
good.
the old comics,
the old movies,
even the original first set of MCU movies up to Endgame.
Yeah.
Kind of. I liked Endgame. I think it was still a really good movie.
Infinity
There's just
War,
certain
man.
things that
I got
wish they would've
chills just
done.
thinking about it.
It just sucks because the IPs were split, so you couldn't have the X-Men in with the Infinity War.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense because the X-Men played a huge role.
Bro, X-Men 3 back in the day? Oh my god, that movie went so hard.
In the Infinity War, in the comics, and you guys probably don't really care about any of that stuff, but there are
I
people
do.
that do.
I geek out
And because
about
of
that
that,
shit,
they
man.
haven't been engaging with the brand whatsoever, and this game is one of the first uses of the IP in a long time that effectively use it in a way that makes you want to engage with it and gets you excited about its future.
Yeah.
And that's why people are loving this game. So trying to criticize the game for having too many characters, you're out of your mind. That's like saying
Smoking
that
dope.
That's like saying that people wouldn't have liked Marvel versus Capcom. Did that have too many characters for you?
No, it's like saying Smash Brothers has too many characters.
If there is one thing that I've learned, and this is probably the one thing that makes me really hopeful about this game's future, really optimistic about this game's future, is that a lot of these Eastern studios, the minute that they strike gold, they throw all of their weight behind it.
Yeah, they go balls deep.
They don't try
Balls to the walls.
scam the players and try to drag them along. They just throw everything they can at them the minute that they get their hands on it, and it's
I'm really sad that this is not like an industry standard too. This is definitely an Eastern thing. There's other studios that do very well at this, but man, like in the West, dude, it's kind of rare. It really is.
why players keep playing their games. Look at Black Myth.
Except for like. Except for Horizon, like they got Horizon games, they got Lego Horizon, and apparently they got a Horizon movie coming out, and like these videos I see, they get so many views, and I'm just so confused because I'm like, I've never talked to anyone that actually liked the game.
Wukong. The game comes out,
So
it gets
weird.
incredibly successful. They
like,
start
who are these
patching it,
people?
fixing some issues in
Shout
the
out to
game,
y'all.
but then they start adding in a boss rush mode. Did you pay for that? No. They added another character for you to be able to play as in a certain area or something like that. I haven't gotten around to do that. I think it's like the Tiger Guy or something like that. But they didn't have to do that. They just do it because they appreciate the fans, and they want to show those fans that they appreciate them supporting them, and that's how these games continue to be successful.
They're trying to keep their game
Blade's
alive.
another really good example of that as well, right? They did a lot of collabs and skins and stuff like that they threw into the game, and I know that's something that those players definitely appreciate. And
Yep.
just like how I appreciate Sue Storm as Malice.
Me too.
Oh Lord.
Boy.
I'm not really somebody that likes to buy microtransactions, but when it comes to this game, they are doing a damn good job at
They are.
putting me in harm's way, or at least my wallets for that course.
Yeah.
Speaking of harm's way, few of you guys know this, but I actually do live in the Los Angeles area, so I might end up
no.
being evacuated or on fire. Let's hope neither.
I hope not.
This might
That whole situation is wild, bro. I saw a video. I don't know if it's real or not. I kind of wanted to watch it on YouTube, but it was a guy that was like going around LA, and he was like spotting like people like starting fires, and he was like putting them out with his buddy. They're like the Dude Brothers or Dude Bros or something like that. And they said they were YouTubers, but I looked it up on YouTube. I couldn't find anything on them. Just some random clip I saw on Twitter. But dude, that whole situation is crazy, man. And it's weird because, it's had so many crazy fires already. Like, I remember seeing the one on way back in the day. I don't know if it was 2020 when it was, but and it was like this car was driving in the hill area and everything's on fire. It just looked like a scene from Lord of the Rings, like Mordor. Man, I feel bad for everyone. I got family out there too. It sucks.
depending on how things
scares
go,
the
who
shit out of
knows?
me.
This is really one of the only ways for me to say anything to anybody. If something happens for whatever reason, I'll be uploading in a while. Let's just hope that it doesn't, because I really just don't want to have to deal with that. I'm lazy, man. I don't want to leave. Like, if it's a fire, like maybe like 2 houses down, I'll think about leaving.
No, bro, you gotta leave right away. What the fuck, bro? If a fire is in your vicinity, I would get out of there. Like, I get you gotta upkeep the house and everything because it's worth a lot of money, which is crazy. Because I've seen like Zillow screenshots of the situation as well, and there's like houses like 35 million, all this kind of stuff, all gone, burning. It's nuts. Like, how does it get to that,
Hope
man?
you guys enjoyed the video. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. I'm gonna move
I know
out of
how.
California. That's all I got for today. Follow me on
I know not everybody's religious. Yeah, I'll
Twitch. Catch me live, follow the Twitter, like the video, all that stuff. See you guys later.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace, man. I was saying, I know not everybody's religious, but I'm gonna pray for that man because that really does suck. I didn't know he was in LA. That's interesting. Man, you gotta deal with high ass taxes and you gotta worry about your house fucking entering Mordor. Fuck. That's so unfortunate. Let's look at the comment section below, which I love to do. And also, this video deserves a like. And if you're not subbed to Legendary Drops, I recommend it, dude. He drops some fire content. If you sub to him, make sure you let him know that the Ether sent you. Imagine a game that doesn't go out of its way to tell its own audience it hates them. Yeah, we talked about that in the video. That's a huge point for me. It's like, really? Come on, bro. They're your customer base. Like, every time I'm in a job, everyone always says, and I know it's a mindset you have to have, and sometimes, when you're back in the office, you could talk that shit to, let the stress out, because you do deal with fucking nutty-ass customers. But you have to have that mentality, especially to their face, to their with communication with the customer, that they're always right, and they always come first. That's the biggest thing. They always come first. You just gotta appreciate them as much as possible. Man, I just don't get why people don't do that. It's so weird because it happens all the time in the gaming industry. It's like, what the fuck? Do y'all not have normal society rules and talk to people on a daily basis? Well, probably some of them don't. Blizzard had all the advantages, and if they still lose to Marvel Rivals, they deserve to lose. They were first to market, and they built a strong IP. Everyone loved the game, and then they drove it into the ditch. And instead of fixing it, they focused on gaslighting players, virtue signaling, and predatory monetization. Good riddance to bad rubbish. It's honestly unfortunate because when Overwatch caught fire was probably at the height of the loot box scenario, It killed Battlefront 2. There's so many games that it killed, really. And they all fell victim to their own greed, trying to rob people of their money, which is unfortunate. They call themselves industry experts, just like they call themselves game journalists. Oh boy, it was a rough year in 2024 for those guys. It looks like 2025 it's gonna be another bumpy ride. Most of this people don't know anything about the lore of a characters, the world, or any in between. Sure, I can call myself a boxer giant or a one-hit KO machine, but put me in a ring with an amateur boxer and I'm getting demolished. P.S. I haven't boxed a day in my life. Yeah, you can say you're a lot of things until reality strikes. This was an amazing video, man. Shout out to the whole community. Dude, just keep the conversation flowing. Let me know what you think. There's probably nuggets here and there when I mentioned something where you disagreed or agreed with completely or whatever it might be, or I maybe left something out and you're like, oh, he was cooking, but bro, there's another point you can put out there. Make sure you leave all that in the comment section below. Love y'all, man. I was up so early this morning, so this is probably the only video I'm going to be able to get out today. I'm doing it very late while I'm watching my favorite team, Texas, play, and it looks like we just scored a touchdown, so that's good luck. That's good minto. So, yeah, nevertheless, my name is Trey Swish. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next ones. Hit that like button. It's free. Why not? Hit that sub button, baby. Join the Ether. I love y'all, Ether. Let's go. Let's get to 1,000. I'll see you guys.